Welcome back to part 2 of the StingyTrigger tabletop review of the Remington 1911 R1. Alright, picking up where we left off, let's talk a little bit about track record. Well, if you're familiar with the 1911, you're familiar with this gun's track record. Now, admittedly, we don't have quite the history with Remington making 1911s. However, I will say that when it comes to reliability, you've got the 1911 design backing you up. When you pull that trigger, it's gonna go bang. And you've got Remington's reputation for reliability when it comes to firearms in general, if not specifically with pistols. However, there are a couple of issues that I did encounter. When it comes to ball ammo, I fed this thing Tula steel ammo, I gave it Blazer aluminum, Blazer brass, I gave it Winchester white box brass, I gave it some BVAC reloads, I gave it some ballistic tipped critical defense, you know, the Horn 80 Zombie Max rounds that I picked up at a gun show. I fed it some of those. I fed it a lot of different things. And as long as you can maintain that ball shape of that original ball style ammo, it will feed no problem. However, when it comes to hollow points, you run into the problems that all 1911s have with hollow points. That steep ramp often, I'll go ahead and walk this back, hopefully you guys can see it. That steep feed ramp down in there that you get on a lot of 1911s will catch that first round stripping off these magazines. And in fact, it didn't matter if I was using 7-round GIs or the 8-round Remingtons that came with it, or aftermarket Mech-Gars. If I loaded a full magazine of hollow points, the very first round in every single magazine when this gun fed would jackknife and jam on the bottom of the feed ramp and would jam up the gun. However, if you downloaded all your magazines, if you ran your 7s as 6s, your 8s as 7s, your 10s as 9s, etc., it seemed to function alright. And I didn't have a ton of rounds to put through. I put, a couple hundred rounds of various hollow points through here. That being said, the ballistic tipped do seem to function considerably better when it comes to reliability. However, I don't know if I would even mess with those. We did have a couple failures to feed even with the ballistic tips. However, when it came to ball ammo, never choked once. 100% reliable with in excess of 800 rounds of ball ammo through this gun. So if you're going to run this gun for concealed carry, for home defense, just use ball ammo if you have to guarantee that it's going to work for you. And let's be honest, you get hit with a 45 ACP ball ammo, even with armor on, you're going to feel it. It's like taking a baseball bat to the chest and it's going to drop you on your butt. So I don't know if hollow points are necessarily going to give you all that much advantage when you're backed up by the power of the 45 ACP. Now, durability. Again, about 1,000 rounds through this gun. Starting to see a little wear on the barrel. A few little barrel smiles there on the end. They're barely noticeable. Nothing real out of this, out of the realm of normal wear. Little holster wear from rocking in and out of holsters and bags and whatnot. I was concerned about the coating of this particular gun. This isn't actually blued. I know it looks blued, but it's blue with some type of a titanium nitride kind of finish on here, or a Parkerization. You can see there's one little hey idiot scratch here that I managed to get in it, taking out the slide release lever here at one point. But it is by and large extremely durable, and that was one thing I had some concerns with. Other than that, be prepared to get yourself a little tube of Loctite. I have noticed that these grip panels like to loosen up. I have to take mine off, clean underneath them, make sure they're nice and dry, and then Loctite them back in place. They will continue to loosen up on you, so Loctite them. Same goes for the sights. My front sight is locked in place. However, there's a tiny little Torex screw in each one of these, and I'm not sure what size it is, but it's small. It's below 5 T5. I'd say probably maybe a T4, maybe even a T3. And that is what anchors your sights in place. And I have noticed that you can see just a little bit there. It has loosened up and it does wiggle a little bit, so you're going to want to make sure you Loctite those guys back in place. Other than that, this is an amazingly durable gun. The kind of gun that you're going to be able to make an heirloom gun, to be perfectly honest, and pass down to your kids, maybe even your grandkids, presuming the lefties don't get their way, the antis I should say. We got some lefty allies. Maybe even your great-grandkids or your great-great-grandkids. This is the kind of gun that is built to last for generations. So it's highly, highly durable. Moving on to accuracy. Go ahead and move this out of the way here. Back up the camera a little bit so you guys can see. I've got a number of targets here that we managed to save from the range the other day. And it's a fairly accurate gun. For example here, we've got, let's see, got one here. This is Stingy shooting Winchester white box at 7 yards. Got about a 2-inch group there for the most part. Nice and highly accurate. We've got another one here shooting a full mag. Another couple of nice groups there. One flyer up at the top, but that's us, that's not the gun. Another 2-inch group at the bottom, a nice little 1-inch one-hole group up there right near the bullseye. You know, sent 4 rounds sailing through there, really nice. Further out at 15 yards, again, another nice one-hole 1-inch group. Rest of the mag opened up a little bit. Those flyers again are us, but you know, for the most part, still a 2 to 3-inch group coming out of that 5-inch barrel. And this is again all Winchester white box. One last one from him here. Nice 3-inch group overall. Total of 7 rounds altogether. 15 yards. Again, Winchester white box. And these targets were shot after about 2 hours of shooting. We should have started with the 45, I think. But this is after building our way up through shooting 22, 9, 40, and some 357 before we actually got to doing the 45. So we were pretty shaky by then. And even still, a nice tight group at 15 yards with a pistol. I got a few over here from me too. Again, we got some, you know, larger group, end of the night. This was after about 3 hours of shooting, but still managed to put 5 rounds, you know, on target, certainly within a, you know, chest cavity shot at 15 yards. Respectable. Another similar group of 5 rounds there. I think I had 1 extra in the pipe at that point, yeah, but, you know, still a little low, but again, that's me shooting at the end of the long day. Down at 7 yards. Pulled in 7 rounds there. Nice little 3-inch group overall. You know, 2.5, 3-inch group. Pretty good, including a nice 3-shot, 1-hole group down there at the bottom, 4-shot. Another one had a nice little grouping over there, and had a few others that were spread out kind of far. But again, still respectable, still all on target, all on paper. You know, down at 7 yards. And last but not least, and I'm going to roll some footage in here, and you'll probably hear Stingy making fun of me for this. This is a target I shot. This is the last 6 rounds we had left over, shooting at 15 yards, one-handed, into a nice grouping there. Had no more than a 5-inch group with one-handed at 15 yards after 3 hours of shooting. I call that pretty good. Stingy always busts my balls about that, of why do I shoot better one-handed with the 1911 than I shoot better than two-handed with the 1911, and well, to be perfectly honest, that's the way Grandpa taught me, because that's the way the Army taught him. He taught me, come down on your target, line the gun up, pull the trigger, and you can't miss. And it's the only gun that works that way for me, but I shoot better one-handed with it than I do two-handed. Nevertheless, you can see it's a highly accurate gun. 7 yards, 15 yards, you know, certainly within self-defense distances, even for making, you know, multiple headshots, even. Not necessarily recommended to shoot for the head, mind you, but still, respectable accuracy. That moves us on to value. First up is cost. Well, the basic model, this guy, the R1, lists for about $700. Prices subject to change, of course, based on availability and, you know, market forces. But you can typically find them for about $625, $650. Mine was originally $650 and came with a pair of 8-round magazines. However, you can find a lot of them in roughly that range. They do make a couple other variations that increase in price. There's a stainless steel version, which is more expensive. There is an enhanced version, which is essentially this gun, but with a lot of extra scroll work and gold inlay and fancy stuff for the 100-year anniversary edition. Also comes with one of their Remington 1911 tools, which is pretty nice, which is more expensive. And then, of course, there's their top-of-the-line, I believe they refer to it as the enhanced version. And this is one of your you know, all toys, everything done to it. It's got a skeletonized trigger and a skeletonized hammer, and it's got, you know, high traction G10 grips on it, and it's got front serrations and back serrations, and, you know, it's got competition sights on it, and, you know, polished feed ramp, and, you know, tuned trigger, and everything you can imagine being done to a 1911 is done to that gun. And that's even more expensive than that, pushing the $1,000 mark. Still though, for everything that they're offering on this gun, stainless steel barrel, basic beveling, most of the GI improvements, $600, $650 is a downright respectable price. So, value-wise, I'd say it's pretty darn good. Especially comparing it to, say, Springfields, which are going to run you at least another $100 to $150 more for a GI version or a mil-spec version. Or even Tauruses, which are closing in on that cost at about $500. I don't know about you, I'd be willing to spring for an extra $100 in order to jump from a Taurus to a Remington. And I'd put it on par in quality, certainly with a lot of the Smith & Wessons, the SIGs, especially your GI entry-level versions. So it is an affordable option for those of you who want to get into a good, high-quality, full-size 1911. Accessories, well guys, it's a 1911. It's been out for over 100 years. There's accessories everywhere. Like I said, it does come with some 8-round mags. It will work fine with any of your Mech-Gar 7-round factory mags left over. GI mags, Korean stamped out mags, what have you. A few other just generic accessories, you know, your basic Walmart pistol rug. Fits just fine for carrying it to and from the range. There are, of course, holsters and holster systems and everything else. I've got just a basic Serpa holster that fits it, and this is just your Blackhawk generic 1911 holster. Nice and in there. You know, what can I say, guys? It's a 1911. If you can't find an accessory for it, you're not looking very hard. A couple things that do come with the gun itself. It does come with a pretty nice blown plastic injection molded case. Comes with a little plastic barrel nut tool, and of course your magazines. And it also comes with a little bit of paperwork and some offers here, if I can dig the last of it out of here. I'll come back to that. Comes with your warranty card, your owner's manual. But it comes with this, which is pretty nice. This is the service plan agreement. Basically, once you register your warranty, within 12 months you can send it back for a full cleaning, tune-up, and adjustment for their Platinum service plan. And they also give you a coupon here for a rebate for $5 off your first box of Remington ammunition. Kind of nice of them. They also send you a little advertisement for their 1911 multi-tool. It's not included. I believe it's in the Centennial version. They ship you one. But it comes in both commander size and full size with a bit system and a little carrying case and whatnot. And these are purchasable online, Amazon, etc. for about $40, $45, not including shipping. Alright, we're almost out of time for clip 2 here. We're going to come back, I guess, in a part 3. I was hoping to get this done in 2, where we'll go over the last of our value segments and wrap it up. Hope to see you guys there.